What a day! What a lovely day! If you haven't watched Mad Max Fury Road by now, go check it out. If you love post-apocalyptic movies, if you love car chases, if you love Charlize Theron and Tom Hardy, if you love Mad Max series, if you love action films, if you love... Well, seriously, what are you doing? Go watch it if you haven't already. And I'm assuming you did, or probably you're going for Avengers Age of Ultron for the second or third time by now. But still, go check this out if you haven't already. It's really that damn good. It deserves the 98% of Rotten Tomatoes. I hope that it gets nominated for Best Picture. Yeah, I highly doubt it'll get nominated because it's an action flick, and nominations for Best Pictures for action films are very, very rare, but I'm hoping anyway. I'm hoping it at least gets nominated for Best Sound Mixing, Sound Editing, and Best Original Soundtrack, Best Visual Effects. Seriously, this film is great. This action flick is awesome. Freaking awesome. And I'm depressed because it had to end, and it's a glorious 2 hours. And I'm sad because it had to end and I want to see it again. I lived. I died. I live again. And I want to go back to Valhalla. Seriously, man. This is... Oh, seriously, it's great. I can't even think of negative things to say about this film. Sure, there was a lot of points where I say, what the fuck? But that's only because of the imagery. I mean... Damn! I mean, there are some scenes where it just goes, what the fuck in your face, and there's a scene where it shows gigantic fat women breastfeeding babies, and they're next to a milk pumping station, and you see disfigured people, and there's this one guy with a gigantic nose with a huge wart on him, and he just wants water, and you see these guys who are, I believe, like covered in ash or some kind of spray paint or something like that, and it turns out they have cancer because all of them have bumps and stuff, and you're like, really? These are all sick guys, and they're using humans as blood banks, especially Nicholas Hoult, who uses Mad Max as a blood bank, and you're like, what the fuck? And there are colorful characters as well. My most favorite one has to be the flamethrower guitar guy. I believe his character's name is the Doof Warrior, also known as Coma, and my god, I love this character so much. He was a lot of fun. All he does is just play the guitar. That's all he does. He doesn't really attack people. He doesn't even fight Max, really. He doesn't really care about that. He just wants to play his guitar. And he's on top of this giant truck with speakers, and on the back of these speakers, you have guys who are just beating the drums, and that's all they do. Oh my god. They're only there to provide the film soundtrack, and man, the score is fantastic. Junkie XL did a great job, and even though I thought the whole score is great, I think my most favorite one has to be, I believe it's called Brothers in Arms, and if you hear the extended version of that, that was good. I really like that one the most, but seriously, overall the score is freaking good. Oh my god, the score was good. And the visuals are stunning. This is the most beautiful post-apocalyptic movie I have ever seen. Seriously, the sand is beautiful. Who says that about sand? The sand is beautiful, the desert is beautiful, and we just had Avengers Age of Ultron that came out a couple weeks ago, and that showed a colorful cast of characters. I mean, Captain America in red, white, and blue. We have the Incredible Hulk who's all green. But this movie... This post-apocalyptic movie is more colorful than the one about a team of superheroes. How do you do that? And also, I heard that this movie is 80% practical effects, practical stunt work and everything, and I'm like, oh my god, it's beautiful, it's refreshing to see. I mean, sure, you could tell when CGI is used, especially when Charlize Theron has this prosthetic arm, and it's mostly metal, and you could tell about the real metal parts, but they had to CG out her arm to get that out, and that was a very cool effect. And also, there's the CGI sandstorm as well, but seriously though, the practical effects are stunning. There's real cars, real people, real stunt actors, and there's so much chaos everywhere, and real destruction. I'm hoping real explosions, because they look too real. I mean, Jesus Christ, the camera work in this is stunning. I mean, this is from George Miller, and he is the creator of the original Mad Max series, so he knows what he's doing. And I'm okay with them creating Babe. I'm okay with them creating Happy Feet 1 and 2. Tom Hardy as Mad Max. At first I was worried because I thought Mel Gibson was great as Mad Max. I don't think anyone could take that role. So when I heard about the casting, I was a bit iffy on it. But I did like Tom Hardy, and Tom Hardy did great. I mean, he got Mel Gibson's blessing to play the character, and he did a great job. He even had the same mannerisms for Mad Max. You know that Mad Max doesn't really speak that much, or tries not to speak that much. So he shows a lot of emotions through his faces. So every time he tries to speak, he's like, no. Like that. He's just trying to find the words, and that's great. Tom Hardy did a great job of that. But even though Mad Max is the main character, but he's more secondary compared to Furiosa, played by Charlize Theron. And Charlize Theron, she was great. She was freaking fantastic. Furiosa is a great character. I love this character. It's her revenge story. She wants to get revenge on Immortan Joe. There's a scene where it's very emotional, and Charlize Theron pulled that off. When you see her break down, even though she's a very strong character, man, that got me, really. And yeah, this movie has a couple emotional scenes as well. One part almost made me teary-eyed. And that's probably because the whole movie was freaking beautiful to look at, and the action is glorious, so I was gonna cry anyway. But still, there was a very emotional scene near the end, and I was like, "Aw, wow, I feel bad." But it was so good. The characters are freaking good. I mean, even the wives, the 5 wives, at first I thought they're just going to be damsels in distress and contribute nothing to help or save anyone. But no, they actually help out. I mean, there's this one time where Zoe Kravitz got captured, and I was kind of pissed at first. I was like, why does Zoe Kravitz have to play a character that gets taken hostage? Why? She has a knack for playing that. But no, even her character still kicked ass in the end, and I was happy about that. So the wives actually did their job. They actually want to survive, and they actually helped Charlize Theron help them out. So that was good. And even the majority of the bad guys, even if they don't speak, at least you know what they are, and I like that. Each character is unique. There's this guy, I believe he's the son of Immortan Joe, and his name is Erictus or something like that, and he's played by Nathan Jones, and he was awesome. I really like this character. He has the body of Humongous from The Road Warrior, but his behavior and personality is the same as that guy from Final Fantasy VII Event Children, the one that fights with his fist a lot, the one that always talks about Mother and Jehovah, Genova. And yeah, this guy's like, oh, I had a baby brother. He would have been perfect. I like that. And he acts like a child to it, and I like that. And Immortan Joe, he's played by the same guy who played the Toe Cutter in the first Mad Max film. So does that mean that the Toe Cutter and Immortan Joe are the same characters? No, they're actually 2 different characters, and I'm happy about that because it doesn't make sense then, because I'm like, how does Toe Cutter survive the crash, and also he found this huge quarry, and he's able to fill up the aqueduct with the pumps, water pumps and stuff? How does he know? But I'm glad that it's 2 different characters, and Immortan Joe is a freaking badass, even though he's just a fat guy with a giant belly, and he's covered with warts and ash, and he has this breathing apparatus as well. But even with that, he's still a freaking intimidating character. Man, I love his voice too. He's like a mixture of Bane and Darth Vader.
Where has she taken them?
He was intimidating. I thought he was great. And even under with the body armor as well, and his freaking awesome mask, that was freaking cool. And the design is freaking awesome. Each character wears something different. They all stand out. I mean, sure, a bunch of guys are covered with white paint and stuff like that, but there's little differences here and there. Like, one of them has a scar, and he's played by the same guy who played, I forgot the character's name, but he's from X-Men Days of Future Past. Stryker, yeah, that's his name. Yeah, it's the same actor, and at first I didn't know that about him. So yeah, we have that. And Nicholas Hoult as Nux, I believe that's the character's name. He was freaking good. I really like Nicholas Hoult in this film, and his character stands on his own, and you actually feel for this character. You want him to succeed, and man, Nicholas Hoult did a great job, and he actually kicked ass in a bunch of scenes too, and he actually helps out a lot. And we have the flamethrower guy, we have the fat guy with giant leg stumps. Basically, he doesn't really have a foot. It looks like a brachiosaurus kind of foot or an elephant foot because of these giant tumors, and he's exposing his nipples, and they're chained up and stuff, and he just keeps caressing them, and you're like, what the fuck? And there's this guy who, at first, from the trailer, he was blindfolded in the trailer. At first, I thought it was Gary Oldman, but no, it's not him, it's someone else. It would have been awesome if it was Gary Oldman, even for a cameo. But still, there's this guy who's driving this tank, and he loses his eyesight, so he just keeps shooting everyone with submachine guns. He was freaking awesome. And the tank drives on the wet sand, and that was a pretty intense scene. And the action scenes are great because the cars are real, and there's different kinds of cars too, there's different kinds of trucks. And this movie reminds me so much of Steven Spielberg's Duel, and but instead of a regular car going up against a giant truck, we have a truck against an entire army. And man, this truck is a character. It's an actual character, and I like that. All the vehicles are characters. You have these spiky ones. You have the giant truck, the war machine, or the war rig, as Charlize Theron called it. And we have the what was Mad Max car again? The Imperator or something like that. Impersonator, something like that. But Interceptor! Yeah, the Interceptor. Oh my god. This car shows up a couple times, and every time Mad Max sees someone else driving it, he's like, no, my car, my car. That was great. And the action scenes keep escalating every single time. So at first, you think it's already chaotic, but no, it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and more people get involved too. There's more chaos, and the final battle, this all-out war in the end, oh my god. It's basically like a Pirates of the Caribbean ride. You have these guys on these like slingshot ladder things that are picking people up and stuff. And we see Mad Max getting dragged by one of these guys, and he almost hits his head on top of the sand, and that was freaking cool. And yeah, Mad Max keeps getting thrown around like a rag doll too. He keeps jumping at people, but also slipping off the vehicles, and Charlize Theron has to pick him up at one point. That was freaking awesome, and there's so much destruction and so much chaos. Oh my god, this film was a lot of fun. And man, the score to man, I love the Brothers in Arms score. That was a freaking great score. So yeah, I really recommend this movie, guys. If you haven't seen it yet, go watch it. It's worth your time. I mean, I'm glad that it's actually doing okay in the box office, but I'm kind of sad that it's being beaten by Pitch Perfect 2. Nothing against Pitch Perfect 2. I still have to see that movie. And I did like the first Pitch Perfect. That's why I want to see Pitch Perfect 2. But still, Mad Max deserves better. It does. And even though I will see Pitch Perfect 2 soon, I'd rather see Mad Max Fury Road again. Ah, man. Jesus. I felt like I was on drugs the entire time. I felt like I was on this 2-hour-long high, and I was just depressed because the high had to end. Seriously, immediately I just want to see the next showtime, but I couldn't because I have so much stuff to do. I can't wait to see this again. And seriously, usually after I see a movie, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get it on Blu-ray. But no, this time I really want to just see it again and again and again. It's that good. So guys, if you watched the movie already, write down in the comments below, how do you feel about it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know. Guys, if you like this video, please click the like button. If you'd like to subscribe, there's an annotation here for subscribing. So until next time, guys, see you later, and thank you for watching.